ほら、ルフィ、今一緒に海賊になる仲間を探してるんだ。
Hello guys, welcome to my channel The Wandering Zoro, your go-to destination for anime-related content. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. In today's video, we're going to be diving into part 3 of the series, so be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. Musutafu, Japan. Ruji. So where are you going again, Izuku? Izuku. Just a park that you asked me to meet her at so we could talk. Yusuka. Do you know what she might want to discuss? Izuku. Not really. The last couple of times we've messaged each other, she never showed any signs of anything being wrong. And grin, oh, maybe she's going to confess to you, Izu. Izuku. Blushing what shakes head. Izuku. Looks down. I know I'm able to actually talk to girls normally now, but I doubt that any of them would like me like that. Makoto. Hey, don't sell yourself short, Izuku. You have a lot of qualities that would make any girl fall for you. Futaba. Yeah, you're a really caring person. Super friendly, funny, easy to talk to, not a pervert, pretty buff and good-looking. I highly doubt you'd have problems getting a date with girls if you tried. Haru. Exactly. You should have a little more confidence in yourself, Izuku. Izuku. Small smile. Thank you, guys. Morgana. No problem, Izuku. Anyways, looks like you're at your destination. Good luck. Third person Puff. As Izuku walked into the park, he saw his friend Yui on a bench having a conversation with another girl that had orange hair tied into a side ponytail. Izuku. Waving, hey Yui, I finally made it. Hope I didn't keep you waiting. Yui. Small smile. Hey Izuku, thank you for meeting me here. And we haven't been waiting too long. Oh, what's this? Yui actually smiling. Yui. Blush. Shut up, Itsuka. Itsuka. Grinning, hey, I'm just teasing you. Anyway, is this the guy you were talking about? Yui. Nods. Itsuka, this is Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, this is Itsuka Kendo. Izuku. Nice to meet you, Kendo-san. Itsuka. Just Itsuka's fine. Kendo-san make me feel old. Izuku. Then go ahead and just call me Izuku. So Yui, what was it you wanted to talk about? Yui. Nods. You see, Itsuka is participating in a martial arts tournament in a couple of hours and her partner backed out last minute. I remember you saying you had some martial arts training and was wondering if you'd be her partner for the tournament. Izuku. Scratching head. Geez, I don't know, Yui, this is kinda out of the blue, and wouldn't someone more experienced be better suited to ask? Itsuka. Drops head. I already asked my other martial arts friend, but they said they couldn't do it. Yui. Nods head. So she asked me if I knew anyone and you came to my mind. Izuku. I don't know. It was then Yui used the secret weapon that could make almost any man quiver in fear, the puppy dog eyes. Yui. Puppy eyes, please Izuku, you're her only hope or else she'll be disqualified. Itsuka. Begs, please, I've been looking forward to this tournament all year. I know, how about after I treat you to some food as a thank you? Izuku. Shakes head. It's okay, Itsuka, you don't need to make it up to me. If you're really looking forward to this tournament, then I'd be happy to be of help. Itsuka. Large smile. Really, you mean it? Izuku. Smiling. Yep. So what do you guys say we go back to the cafe I work and you can catch me up to what this tournament will have? Yui. You go ahead, Izuku, we'll meet you there in a bit. Izuku. Confused. Okay, well, see you there then. And with that, Izuku turned around and walked away. Itsuka. Confused. Why'd you tell him to go ahead, Yui? Yui. Sigh, it's because I can see it in your eyes that you have doubts on his skills. Smike, so I was just going to tell you to make sure you keep your mouth from hitting the floor when he exceeds your expectations. Itsuka. Smike, well then we'll see if that happens. Now come on, I don't know where he works so you have to show me. 20 minutes later. As Yui and Itsuka finally made their way into LeBlanc, the sight of Izuku making drinks left Yui in a blushing state and surprisingly left Itsuka drooling a bit as well. Izuku. Oh, you guys finally made. Please sit, I have some drinks already made, so help yourselves. Itsuka. Blushing. Oh, thank you, Izuku. Yui. MHM. Izuku. Sip. So Itsuka, what can you tell me about this tournament? Itsuka. What would you like to know? Izuku. Thinking pose. How about what martial arts are allowed? How many opponents should I expect? How difficult is this tournament and are quirks allowed? Itsuka. Thinking pose. Well, they're calling it a martial arts tournament, but as far as I know, any form of fighting is allowed. The skill of the fighters might vary, but more than likely they'll be mid-class fighters. Quirks aren't allowed, and so you shouldn't expect too many participants. Izuku. Confused, oh? And why is that? Itsuka. Looks down while you see with quirks and everything martial arts aren't that popular to the newer generations, so not a lot of people sign up for these types of things. Izuku. Place his hand on shoulder, hey, it's okay. Itsuka. Looks up, huh? Izuku. I mean, just because people don't have an interest now doesn't mean they won't later, and besides I can tell it's something you enjoy doing, so that makes me more pumped to fight alongside you. Itsuka. Surprised you don't think this is a waste of time. Izuku. Of course, not doing something you have a passion for just shows that you have a future goal to achieve, and if I'm being honest, most people don't have that, so I think it pretty amazing for you to have a passion even if others don't agree with you. Itsuka. Blushing while Yui. Cough cough. Taken out of their conversation, Izuku and Itsuka looked over to Yui, who to Itsuka's surprise had a face she never knew the girl could do. Annoyance. Yui. Oh? Sorry, I just had something stuck in my throat, so are you and Izuku? Izuku. Smiling, yep, let's do this, ready to kick some butt. Itsuka. Itsuka. Grinning, heck yeah. Musutafu, Japan, local dojo. As Izuku and his companions made it inside the area where the tournament was taking place, he couldn't help but notice that even though they had such a large area to fight in, he could easily count the number of participants on his hands. Saying good luck to both of them, Yui excused herself to the watchers area to look over the tournament. Izuku. Why you weren't kidding when you said not to expect a lot. Itsuka. Yeah, but don't let your guard down. Some of these guys have been doing this for years, so they have a lot of experience. Izuku. Right, so where do we? Well, if it isn't Miss Manhands herself. Turning around, Izuku and Itsuka came face to face with a group of 4 kids their age with smirking faces. Once they took a good look at them, Itsuka narrowed her eyes at the group of teens. Itsuka. Eyes narrowed. What the hell do you monsters want? Guy 1. Mocking, woe, be careful guys, we wouldn't want Manhands to get mad now, huh? Douche group. Chuckles. Itsuka. Clenches fist. Before Itsuka could retaliate with another remark, she felt a hand on her shoulder and saw Izuku looking at her with a serious look. Izuku. Save it for the tournament, Itsuka, they are not worth dealing with right now. Itsuka. Calms down, yeah. Guy 2. Oh look what we have, some righteous prick thinking he can beat us. Guy 3. Haha, hope you dorks are ready for the beating of your life. And with that last remark the group left. Itsuka. Izuku, I'm so. Izuku. No need to apologize, Itsuka, I've seen and dealt with bullies before. Most of the time they always attack you to get a reaction, whether it be verbal or physical. Ignoring them is usually the best option to get them to stop, but a lot of times that won't do, and this tournament gives us the perfect chance to show them why they shouldn't mess with you. Izuku. Smirking, so ready to kick some butt. Itsuka. Smiling, let's do this. After changing into the appropriate gear the tournament host provided, the participants found themselves in the center of the ring waiting for the announcement on how the fighting will occur. Announcer. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to this year's martial arts tournament. This year we had to change the style of fighting as we don't have a lot of participants, and we decided that for maximum enjoyment we turned the usual turn-based fighting matches into one large battle royal amongst the participants. Meaning it will be every team for themselves, last one standing wins. Announcer. Remember folks, no quirk usage will be allowed. Anybody breaking this rule will be disqualified immediately, no exceptions. You are out by either being knocked unconscious or stepping outside the ring, so be careful and watch your footing. So be ready, we'll begin in 10 minutes. Itsuka. They just had to change it this year, huh? Izuku. Looks over you nervous, Itsuka. Itsuka. A little, I've never fought in a tournament like this. But hey, I'm always down for a challenge. Think you can keep up smirking? Izuku. Smirk, why don't we find out then? Third person puff. As all the teams readied themselves for the sound of the buzzer, they began to eye each other down to see who they would go after first. Buzz. And with that, the teams were off and the fighting began. Those looking from over the viewer's booth could only describe the fighting as chaotic. As Izuku looked around, he saw a tall and muscular man running all over the place fighting others as he went until he came close to Izuku and tried to perform a roundhouse kick to his midsection. Thinking quick, Izuku jumped over the attack and spun mid-air, countering with his own roundhouse kick that to his surprise not only landed with no attempted block or dodge from his opponent, but he also immediately fell down unconscious. Izuku. Sweat drop what? Seeing just how easily Izuku took out this fighter, the other participants were left gaping at the sheer power Izuku just showed. Even those in the viewing box were left speechless at just how easily Izuku took down his opponent. Itsuka. Mouth gaping, you just took him out with one hit. Izuku. Nervous chuckalua. Before Izuku could respond, he raised his right arm, blocking a punch from another fighter. Reacting quickly, Izuku grabbed the fighter's wrist and performed a judo throw, making the fighter land hard on his back, knocking the air out of him. But before he could get his bearings, Izuku lifted the fighter up by his arm, spun around, and launched the fighter outside the ring. Once again, the fighters were left gaping at how quickly this guy took out two fighters so quickly. Izuku, smirking at showtime. And with that, the other participants charged at Izuku in hopes of taking out what appeared to be the biggest threat. Izuku, ready to dance. Itsuka, dance? Izuku, Itsuka, light build-o embarrassed laugh. Itsuka, blush, yeah, let's do this. And with that, they charged at the other participants that were coming toward them. As they came close, Izuku crouched down, dodging an attack from one of the fighters. In a split second, Itsuka propelled herself on Izuku's back and slammed her fist into the face of the fighter, making him stumble back. Izuku took this chance to advance it well. Before Itsuka could land on the ground, Izuku fell backwards and connected his feet with Itsuka's, pushing forward, launching her upwards to perform an uppercut to the fighter's chin, knocking him out. Just then, the earlier four guys came rushing in to try and take Izuku out. Smiling to himself, Izuku charged forward, catching the four fighters off guard. In quick succession, Izuku kneed the first guy in the gut, making him spit out saliva and fall down. And with one quick motion, Izuku chopped the back of his neck, knocking him out. Using the shock of the other three fighters, Izuku once again charged forward. The second guy in fear shot a random jab toward Izuku in the hopes of knocking him back. However, Izuku was not deterred. Instead, he turned to his side when the jab was supposed to hit, causing the fighter to miss, and in a split second he delivered a rib-shattering punch, causing the guy to drop to his knees. And once again, Izuku introduced his knee to the down fighter's face, knocking him out with a broken nose. Angered by this, the last two guys charged at Izuku with anger in their eyes. Taking advantage of his enemy's clouded eyes, Izuku ducked under a wild swing from one of the fighters and delivered an elbow to his stomach, causing him to crouch over. Spinning on his heel, Izuku roundhouse kicked the crouched fighter on his side, launching him out the ring. Still looking at where he launched the fighter out the ring, Izuku was unable to notice the last guy charging at him. Itsuka, heads up. Turning around, Izuku saw Itsuka perform an axe kick right on top of the last fighter head, smacking him face first to the mat unconscious. Ding ding. Izuku. Confused her? Is it over, Ack? In a split second, Izuku was tackled to the ground by a very happy Itsuka. Itsuka, smiling, we did it, I can't believe we did it. Yui, yes, that was pretty cool of you guys, but don't you think you're a little too close? Once again, both teams turned to their side and to their surprise noticed that Yui had made it down to the arena once the fighting had come to an end. Itsuka, blushing, what are you talking about? As Itsuka looked down, she realized that she was practically straddling Izuku, causing her to become as red as a tomato. Itsuka, steam Thud. Izuku, why you knocked her out? Yui, shrugs, I didn't know she would become unconscious. Yui, so how long are you going to let her stay on top of you, or are you a pervert? Izuku, shocked, why Yui? LeBlanc hours later. Itsuka, I just want to thank you again for being my partner for the tournament, Izuku. Izuku, waving dismissively, it was no problem, Itsuka. I actually had a fun time and it was a good way for me to test out my skills, so I would say it was an even trade. Yui, nods, I'm still impressed. When you told me that you knew how to fight, I wouldn't have believed you could fight that well. Izuku, chuckles, well, when you don't have a quirk, you need to make up that difference with skills, right? Itsuka, jaw drop, you don't have a quirk. Izuku, smiling, nope. Itsuka, smiling, you just keep getting more and more interesting, don't you, Izuku? Izuku, scratching back of his head, I hope in a good way. Yui, cough, so do you have any plans for the future, Izuku? Izuku, thinking pose, honestly all I have right now are some goals I want to reach, but until then I'll just be tacking each day as it comes. Yui, nods, just remember if you ever need any help I'm here, smile. Itsuka, And I owe you, so I'll also help out if you need me. Large smile. Izuku. Smiling, thanks you guys. Come on, food's ready, so let's celebrate. Musutafu, Japan, Midoriya household. Izuku. Deep breath, it's fine, everything's fine, it's just a dinner, it'll be over before you know it. The day had arrived. It was now the time for Izuku and his mother to go over to the Bakugo household for dinner. It had been a couple of years since their two families had met up and done anything together, so Izuku was preparing for the night to just end and get it over with. Ever since he began his training with the Phantom Thieves, Izuku changed both physically and mentally. And although each member has taught him individual skills, the two who have had the biggest impact on Izuku have been Ren and Ruji. Ren was a sensei to Izuku, someone he could look up to, while Ruji helped Izuku gain back the self-confidence he lacked. But what both taught Izuku, whether intentionally or unintentionally, was helping him develop a more aggressive way of sticking up both for himself and others. Instead of shying away from conflict, Izuku would now find himself arguing or confronting it face-to-face with no fear. This was easily displayed during his working hours at LeBlanc, when Izuku would sometimes have to forcefully remove unruly individuals. With this new change, Izuku was finally able to look back on his life and would sometimes become angry with himself for his lack of training, for his inability to talk to his mom about his problems, but especially for his inability to stick up for himself and letting others walk all over him. None doing it more than his former best friend Kitsuki Bakugo. Through some sessions with La Venza, Izuku was able to come to terms that the Bakugo he admired as a kid was nothing more than an imagined figure. The real Bakugo was an egotistical monster that put others down and cared for no one other than himself. So it was safe to say that if Bakugo even looked at him the wrong way, Izuku was not going to just let it slide like in the past. Morgana. Concerned, you sure you're going to be okay tonight, Izuku? Izuku. So I hope so, Morgana, I'm not one to start fights. Ruji. Smiling, but you sure know how to end them, right? Izuku. Yeah. Makoto. Just remember, Izuku, just because you can fight doesn't mean you should. But definitely defend yourself from any attacks. Izuku. Nods. Well, it's almost time to go. Ring, ring, ring. Izuku. Confused. Why is the boss calling so late? Izuku. Hey boss, what's up? Sojiro. Hey kids, sorry for the late night call. I'm just letting you know I'll be gone for a week or two handling some personal matters, so you'll be in charge till I get back. Izuku. Shock, wait, what? But how am I going to open and close LeBlanc when I live far away? I don't have a vehicle and the bus doesn't start early enough for me to get a ride. Sojiro. Chuckling, don't worry, I got it covered, mumble, but I'll have to fix your lack of transportation soon. Izuku. I'm sorry, what was that last part? Sojiro. Don't worry about that. Anyway, I've cleaned out the top room and left a mattress, so if you want you can actually be living there temporarily. And don't worry, there's also a shower and bathroom that you can use. So you think you can do it? Izuku. Well, I can, but I just need to talk to my mom first if that's okay. Sojiro. No problem, kid, and just in case you can't get back to me, I'll leave an extra key in the same spot so you can let yourself in. Izuku. You got it, boss. Sojiro. No problem, kid, have a good night. Click. Ren. So how are you going to bring this up to your mom, Izuku? Izuku. I'll wait till we're back from the dinner to let her know. Yusuka. A wise choice. Inko. Izuku, time to go, are you ready? Izuku. Yes, mom, I'll be down in a sec. Futaba. No more playing around, Izuku, ya need to get going. Izuku. So hopefully nothing bad happens. Musutafu, Japan, Bakugo household. As Izuku and his mother finally arrived in front of the Bakugo residence, Izuku looked at the large, single-family detached home with numerous rooms and a front window surrounded by a wall, and with a well-kept garden. With a glazed-over look, Izuku was thinking back on the times he would come over to play with Kitsuki in their earlier years, and then the memories of his abuse by the exploding Pomeranian himself began to go through his mind, making Izuku become more and more agitated. Izuku was snapped out of his thoughts when his mother was trying to talk to him. Inko. Izuku, hey Izuku, are you okay? Izuku. Blinking, oh sorry mom, I was a bit distracted, what did you say? Inko. Giggles, now don't go getting light-headed on me, Izuku. And I was asking if you could go ahead and knock the door, please. Izuku. All right. Knock, knock. Coming. Creak. It about time you. Who the hell are you? Izuku. Confused, I'm sorry Mitsuki-san, but didn't you guys invited us to dinner tonight? Mitsuki. Shocked Izuku. Izuku. Nods, been a while, hasn't it? Smiles. Mitsuki. What happened to you? You look completely different than the last time I saw you. Inko. So don't worry Mitsuki, I ask myself that a lot. As Mitsuki looked over Izuku's shoulder, her mouth dropped when she saw her old friend who looked younger and skinnier than the last time they had talked in person. Mitsuki. Mouth gaping Inko. Inko. Smiling, how have you been Mitsuki? 20 minutes later. Once the trio had gone inside, they had a bit of a laugh when Mitsuki's husband Masaru also had a shell-shock look when he saw the two Midoriyas. Contrary to both his wife and son, Masaru was more and more timid and reserved individual than the two hot-headed blondes, meaning that the household would often be submitted to the yelling of both mother and son while the father would poorly attempt to get the two of them to calm down. Mitsuki. So how have you been Inko? You guys haven't visited in quite some time. Inko. Pretty good Mitsuki. Izuku has become a real help ever since he started going to online classes, and with his part-time job, I've been able to cut back on my work hours so I get a lot more rest. Mitsuki. Nods, that's good to hear. I wish my brat would get off his lazy butt and do something more productive. So where do you work Izuku? Izuku. Oh, I work at a small cafe called Le Blanc in the shopping district. We specialize in a number of coffee drinks and curry if you ever want to stop by for a meal auntie. Mitsuki. Smile, I might just take you up on that offer. Masaru. Hey Izuku, I need to ask, but why did you decide to start going to online school? I mean, you were on your last year, just like Hitsuki, so why the sudden change? Izuku. Thinking him. Izuku. In all honesty, uncle, it's because I experienced some negative things at that school. So instead of continuing to put myself through that, I just decided I'd rather finish my studies by myself. Masaru. I see, sorry for bringing up any bad memories, Izuku. Izuku. Shakes head, it's alright, you didn't know. Inko. Speaking of Kitsuki, where is he? I thought he would have joined us for dinner. Mitsuki. Annoyed sigh that Brad apparently got some random skeleton-looking man to train him for the UA exam, and has been coming in and out on a regular basis. Inko. Skeleton man? Masaru. Oh, I believe she means someone called Toshinori Yagi. I don't know why, but he looks extremely malnourished and frail, so I'm surprised Kitsuki decided to train under him. Mitsuki. Speaking of that, weren't you also going to try out for UA Izuku? Inko. Stiffened what? Izuku. Shakes head, I was auntie by UA, ended up rejecting my application. Mitsuki. Sato, I'm sorry, I just... Bam. Finally, I was going to kill someone if I got back any later. Old hag, what's for dinner? Mitsuki. Watch your mouth, brat, we have visitors. As one Kitsuki Bakugo made his way into the kitchen, his face showed nothing more than pure annoyance and anger. Bakugo. How in WHY do I care? They're just a couple of extras, and who are they anyway, old HAG? Mitsuki. If you had listened to me, you would have remembered that the Midoriyas were coming over for dinner tonight, brat. As a name finally clicked into Bakugo's simple-minded head, his face grew even angrier once his eyes landed on the other young guy at the table he guessed was the Deku he hated so much. Bakugo. Deku, what the hell are you doing here, ho? To everyone's surprise, Izuku didn't even bat an eye towards Bakugo and instead just continued eating his plate as if no one called him. Annoyed, Bakugo made his way towards Izuku and grabbed his collar, forcing him to look up. Bakugo. Don't ignore me, you freak. Why the hell are you here? In a blitz of speed that no one saw coming, Izuku delivered a hard gut punch to Bakugo, making the ash-blonde teen fall over, clutching his stomach in pain, leaving the others in a state of shock at what had just happened. Inko. Izuku. Izuku. What has had that coming for a long time, Mom? Don't tell me you're going to defend him. Inko. Izuku, you don't hurt your friends. Izuku. So I should have just let him shake me like a rag doll and order me around like a dog. Mitsuki. Hey, don't talk to your mother like that, Izuku. Izuku. Raise his eyebrow, this coming from the mother who is yelling matches with her son on a daily basis. Inko. That's enough, Izuku. Bakugo. Growl, curse you. Trying to retaliate while he was distracted, Bakugo attempted to aim a right hook towards Izuku. Unfortunately for him, Izuku anticipated this and was able to not only catch Bakugo's attack, but with a quick motion had Bakugo face down on the ground with his arm locked behind his back. Inko. Izuku, that's enough, you're hurting him. Izuku. Hurting him. He tried to attack me while my back was turned. Having never seen Izuku raise his voice at her, Inko shuddered a little bit, making Izuku take a step back in surprise, unintentionally letting Bakugo go from his grip. Izuku. Deep breath. I think it would be best if I were to leave. It's clear that I'm no longer welcomed here. Masaru. But where are you going to go? Izuku. I already have a place set up, so there's no need for any of you to worry. And with that, Izuku left the Bakugo household, leaving a shaking Inko, a shocked Masaru and Mitsuki, and a very angry Bakugo. Velvet Room. Ruji. Well, that went better than I thought it would. Yusuke. Nods head indeed. However, it is rather unfortunate that Izuku's mother sided with his attacker. Makoto. To be fair, she's never seen this side of Izuku before. She must have been in some sort of shock from his sudden change. And I would agree with you, but she told him not to hurt the guy that was trying to aggravate Izuku and attacked him. I mean, like, come on, how could she defend that idiot? Haru. Word, I just hope Izuku will be okay. It's one thing to fight against someone who's caused you nothing but harm. Futaba. But to fight with a mother you believed would always take your side must have hurt him more than anything that monster could have done. Morgana. Turns head. What do you think we should do, Ren? Ren. What we've always done. Morgana. Be there for him when he needs us. Lavenza. I don't think we'll be able to talk to him for a while, though. Ren. Confused. Why do you say that? Lavenza. Just watch. Musutafu, Japan, shopping district. As Izuku made his way towards LeBlanc, he couldn't help but be lost in his own thoughts about everything that went down not too long ago. Izuku was slightly surprised that he had retaliated against Bakugo so intensely, and more surprised at how easily he had done so. But the main thing swimming around his mind at the moment was seeing his own mother defend the same guy that had been aggressive towards her son the instant he had placed his eyes upon him. And truth be told, this hurt him more than any of the physical bullying that he had dealt with in his life. While Izuku was lost in his thoughts, he wasn't able to notice the blue-haired girl looking, or at least trying to look inside the cafe with a pouting face. As she became saddened for not being able to go inside the closed store, she turned around, and when her eyes landed on Izuku, a bright smile crossed her face at seeing the person she had hoped to see, but her face became one of concern when it was easy to tell that he was in a rather somber mood. Nejaya. Hey Izu, are you okay? Izuku. Blinko. Oh Nejaya, I'm sorry I didn't see you there. How are you? Fake smile. Nejaya. I'm fine, but how are you? You look really sad. Izuku. Small chuckle. That obviously some stuff went down, so I'm not in a happy mood right now. Nejaya. Do you want to talk about it? Izuku. Shakes head. There's no need for you to worry about me, Nejaya. Before Izuku could finish, Nejaya grabbed his hands with her own and made him look her in her eyes as she continued. Nejaya. Izu, I know I'm not the most mature person to have serious talks with, but I know that when someone is really troubled, it's better for them to talk with someone they trust so they can feel better. Nejaya. Do you not trust me? Izuku. I trust you, Nejaya. But are you sure I won't be a bother to you? Nejaya. Shakes head. Izuku. Then please come inside. I'll be running LeBlanc for a while, so the boss made me a guest room to sleep in, so if you don't mind we can talk there. Nejaya. Smile. I don't mind at all. Finally walking inside, LeBlanc, Izuku, and Nejaya made their way towards the stairs, heading upstairs to the guest room Sojiro had prepared for Izuku. Once inside, both Nejaya and Izuku looked at the almost empty room with only some empty shelves and the on-bed next to a window. As both Izuku and Nejaya sat down, they became silent for a few moments until Izuku started to talk to her about everything that happened at the Bakugo household. From Bakugo's hostility towards Izuku, to Izuku subduing Bakugo to the ground, to Izuku explaining how his own mother was siding with Bakugo, shedding a few tears when he talked to Nejaya. Izuku. Cyan, that's pretty much it. That's everything that happened to me today and why I look so down. Izuku. I'm sorry again for WHOA. Taking Izuku by surprise, Nejaya grabbed Izuku by his head and laid it down on her lap as she began running her hands through his hair. Nejaya. It's okay, Izu, there's no need for you to apologize. I'll always be here for you if you ever need me. Izuku. Close his eyes, thank you. As the two of them stayed in that position, both eventually ended up with heavy eyes, eventually letting sleep overtake the both of them as they slept soundly throughout the night. Yue. Nezu. Rubbing temples. So let me get this straight, not only did you skip the last of our screening process for future students to take the UA exam test, But you also have already decided on someone to pass on one for all without having discussed with any of us. All Might, I am sorry about skipping the meeting, Nezu, but I have to prioritize training the future 9th user. Nezu, Mad All Might, that is not a good excuse. I know you need to train your potential successor, but if you're going to be a teacher here like we agreed, then you need to start thinking more as an educator rather than a solo hero. No matter how strong you make your successor, there are going to be challenges that they'll need help from other heroes to overcome rather than struggle by themselves. All Might, nonchalant wave, you think too little of my successor Nezu. Believe me when I say that he'll be able to handle any obstacle thrown his way with my ingenious training. Nezu, so I hope for our future you're right, All Might. All Might, changing subjects, I've been wondering if you had any news of that vigilante. What was his name again? Yes, Wildcard. Nezu shakes head. So far nothing, but with the few encounters some heroes have had with him, we've come up with a plan to hopefully capture him the next time we have our eyes on him. But for now all we can do is wait. All Might nods head. I do not know what lead that young man to turn to such a dangerous path, but I know we'll be able to set him to the correct one once we have a talk with him. Nezu, hopefully you're right. Musutafu, Japan. LeBlanc, Izuku, groans HM. When did my pillows get so soft? Squeeze. Eep. Izuku, drowsy him? And they are so firm. Wait, looks up. Nejaya, red face. Good morning, Izu. Do you mind taking your hand off? Izuku, blink hand? As Izuku looked at his hand, the prior tiredness that he had rushed out his body, leaving him with only two feelings: shock and fear. Izuku, I jumps off bed. Izuku, kneeling, I'm so sorry, please, I'll do anything for you to forgive me. Nejaya, blushing, anything. Izuku nods head vigorously. Nejaya, then take me on a date. Izuku blinks, a date? Nejaya, pout, yes mister, if you want me to forgive you then next week take me on a date. Nejaya, sly smile, unless you want others to know you're a pervert, Izu. Izuku, sweating, no, a date's fine. Nejaya, smiling, then see you next week, Izu. Izuku, anime tears, why is my life so complicated? With that, Nejaya left a dumbfounded Izuku on the floor until he got up to open the store for business. As the day came to an uneventful end, Izuku made his way back to his room, getting ready to pay his friends and senses a visit. Izuku, alright, let's go us in. Velvet room. Ruji, about time you come and pay us a visit, shrimp. Bam. And don't listen to that idiot Izu. So what brings you here? Yusuka nods head, indeed, anything you wish to talk about. Futaba, grinning, oh I know, is it about you sleeping with that blue-haired girl and getting a feel of her brayer? Bam. Makoto, so how are you, Izuku? Izuku, smiling, I'm doing okay guys, it's still a little hard with what happened with my mom. Morgana, do you want to talk about it, Izuku? Izuku shakes head, no, I'm okay for now. I'll talk to her sometime later when things have calmed down. Haru, smiling, well, if you ever need advice, we'll always be here for you, Izu. Izuku, smiling, thank you guys. Ren, so anything else that you want to talk about? Izuku nods, I think it's time for me to look into Aldrea High. It unnerves me that the last couple of times I've had run INS with the students of the school that they've been doing terrible things. Yusuka nods head, if I remember correctly, you meet Kodai-san because she was pressured into going on a fake date by a couple of Aldrea students. Makoto, and when you went to the record store, some Aldrea students also harassed the purple-haired girl. What was her name again? Izuku, oh, you mean Kyo-chan. She's told me that some more Aldrea students have continued to harass other students at her school, but they've kinda died down when others began to fight back against them. Ruji nods head, good, sometimes the only way to deal with bullies is putting them in their place. Izuku, yep. And other than those incidents, I've gone online and found out that there have been multiple incidents involving Aldrea High students doing other terrible things with little to no reprimanding or consequences. And raise his eyebrow, really, like what? Izuku, for the most part there have been reports of harassment towards individuals with villains' quirks, both physical and verbal bullying, and I told me that stores have even started to refuse any student from their stores because of some Aldrea students vandalizing their stores and stealing products. Futaba, arms flying, wait, so you're telling me that these students are doing all this thing and they haven't been arrested? Izuku nods head, yep, as far as I've found the police force has turned a blind eye to these actions, sometimes even threatening the victims to not tell anyone about what happened. Ren narrows eyes. Any idea why? Izuku. It's only a theory, but I believe that the principal or someone high up in the school is paying off the police to keep their school records clean. Ruji. Scowl. Corrupt monsters. They're letting people get hurt to fill their own pockets. Yusuka. Serious. This indeed needs to be fixed. So you want to go into the metaverse and check it out, right, Izu? Izuku nods head right. And based on how deep this might go, I believe that this might also be a palace. Morgana closes eyes. You might be right, Izuku. Although most palaces we've encountered have been held by single individuals, they are always unpredictable and unique. Ren. So when do you plan to leave, Izuku? Izuku. I'll leave later tonight so that no one sees me. Ren nods head. Okay. You should go rest up and prepare. You never know what palaces will hold. Izuku nods head. I'll see you guys later then. With those final words, Izuku opened a portal back to his world to prepare for the upcoming mission. Musutafu, Japan, Aldrea High Night. As Izuku stood outside his former school, he could only reminisce on how much he suffered at this school, from the bully and harassment to the clear sabotage of his grade from his teachers. Taking a deep breath and pushing all those thoughts aside, Izuku stowed his nerves and prepared to enter. Izuku. Asen. Aldrea High. Ignore Ren and Ruji. As Izuku opened his eyes, they instantly widened as he looked at the ginormous castle in front of him. Snapping out of his stupor, Izuku used his third eye to look around for any easy entry points to sneak into the palace. After a while, Izuku was able to find a section of wall that appeared aged and slightly broken down, allowing him to climb on top of the wall and enter the palace. Izuku, this is bad. This place is so enormous that someone could easily get lost. Suddenly, Izuku light tugged somewhere inside his mind, letting him know someone or something was coming, forcing him to hide himself on top of a chandelier. As Izuku masked his presence, he noticed two figures that appeared to be shadows wearing the Aldrea High uniform walking where he once stood. Trying to gather more information, Izuku once again turned his third eye on and noticed that a blue aura surrounded the two shadows, showing that they were weak enemies he could handle. Ren, don't do it, Izuku. Izuku. Confused her? Why wouldn't it be better to take them out? Ren, normally yes. But remember, Izuku, just because you can fight doesn't mean you need to fight in order to complete the mission. As far as you know, you may take them down, but that might alert others of your presence, and you might get swarmed by numbers of enemies. Izuku hesitantly nods. I understand. Ren, good. For now, just explore around and gather as much information that you possibly can. Izuku nods head. Better prepare some counter while I look around. 30 minutes later. Izuku, sweating. How big is this place? I know it's supposed to be a copy of Aldrea High, but this feels a lot bigger than the original. Morgana, yep, that's how a palace usually is. Even though it starts as a copy of the original from the real world, the corruption it goes through can cause many unpredictable changes. Futaba, not only that, but there are also a large number of enemies. Yusuka, although it is quite surprising that the majority of the shadows around seem to be the lowest level of enemy possible. Makoto, so it's very likely that the owner of the palace is probably incredibly strong to be able to have this much control over these shadows. Ren, any update on the layout, Izuku? Izuku, so far other than the long hallways, I've only really found two interesting things. Izuku, 1. The number of enemies walking around seem to be equal to the number of students Aldrea High has in attendance. 2. There is a large hallway leading to what I believe would be the equivalent of Aldrea High's principal office. Haru, so you can either go and try and fight enemies or see if the ruler of the palace is in the office. Izuku nods, yep, and even though I want to test me skills, I believe it would be better to see just what kind of boss I'll be going up against. Ruji, then go ahead, man, just be careful. If these bosses are anything like the ones we've fought before, then they'll be able to pack quite a punch. Izuku, thanks for the warning, but I think for now just gathering some basic info will be fine. And with that final thought, Izuku once again began to move toward the principal's office, avoiding any wandering shadows by hopping across the low-head chandeliers, and after waiting for some random shadows to move away from the principal's door, Izuku lowered himself and steeled his nerves on what to expect once he opened the door. Deciding to rip off the bandage, Izuku slowly opened the door, only to be met with a large empty room that appeared to be in the design of a ballroom that those of highest status would go to party. Making his way toward the center, Izuku tried to look around the room for any signs of life, but was just met with silence. Clap, clap, clap. So you're the one who's been sneaking around my home. Izuku was taken off guard on the moment he was in the room by himself, but as he turned his head toward the voice, his eyes narrowed at who he saw. Standing at the top of the stairs was none other than the man who ran the school himself, Suguru Kamoshida. However, Izuku was taken aback by his former principal's attire, which consisted of nothing more than a long red robe with different colored hearts for the design and a pink speedo covering his manhood. Kamoshida, so what brings you here to my lovely home, brat? Izuku, I shouldn't be surprised that you'd be the one in charge here, Kamoshida. Kamoshida, scoff, of course I'd be the one in charge. Do you truly believe that any of these imbeciles would have any idea how to run this school? Izuku, so running this school means not only allowing quirk discrimination to be a practiced occurrence, but encouraging those same students to target others not even in their own school. Is running this school properly? Kamoshida, listen kid, in order to succeed or get anywhere in this world, you need to be willing to kick others down. At the end of the day, the future heroes that come from this school will always look back and be thankful that someone was making their dreams come true, and when they come back to thank me, I'll be set for life. Izuku, angry, so the lives of the people you ruin mean nothing to you. Kamoshida, ha ha, oh, they mean something all right. After all, they're the stepping stones that I'll use to get those with real potential ahead. They should be grateful their meaningless lives can be used for someone else. As Izuku prepared himself to take down the palace boss, his body reacted by itself and dodged an axe that would have cut him in half. Taking a second to look around, Izuku noticed that 3 large statues had gotten in front of Kamoshida's shadow. Kamoshida, mocking now you didn't believe that I'd be here without any bodyguards, now did. Meet my trusty guards, as they will be the last thing you see. With that, the knights all charged toward Izuku, looking to end his life. Izuku, Asen. As one of the knights swung his sword down, Izuku jumped backwards to avoid the slash. Taking the opportunity to attack Izuku with Asen, performed a roundhouse kick towards the statue soldier. Out of nowhere, the second statue soldier jumped in front of its comrade and blocked Izuku's kick with the hilt of his sword. In that split second, Izuku found himself being launched backwards and crashing into a wall, sliding onto the ground. As Izuku looked over to where he was, he saw that the third soldier statue was standing with its right leg sticking out, letting Izuku know that he had been kicked away when his attack was blocked by the second statue. Kamoshida, haha, look at you struggling like a dog. No matter what you do, you won't be able to even scratch my soldiers. Izuku groans, and why is that? Kamoshida, well, it's not like you'll survive, so let me give you a little bit of info. These 3 soldiers are powered by those weak shadows that roam my palace, and as long as I have those shadows acting as batteries for my soldiers, they'll never receive any form of damage, and even if they do, they just heal from it. Izuku, well, F me then. Ren, Izuku, you need to get out, you don't have the strength to take them on. Izuku, easier said than done, Ren. As Izuku sat on the ground thinking a way to get out of his predicament, he came to only one option that was a risk, but he had to take it. Izuku, it's now or never, Alice. Izuku, debilitate X3. With that, 3 colored lights surround each statue soldier. Once done, all 3 soldiers fell on their knees, unable to stand. Izuku, now Alice. Izuku, Megiddo Leon. All of a sudden, the 3 soldier statues were engulfed in a bright light that forced both Izuku and the shadow boss to turn away and cover their eyes. When the light died down, all that remained of the 3 statue soldiers was ruble. However, before Izuku could breathe a sigh of relief, the 3 piles of ruble began to glow green, and slowly each pile began reforming into their statue body once again. Kamoshida, resisting is futile, like I said before. My soldiers are immortal as long as they have the energy from my pawn, so how about you give up this useless fighting and accept your fate? Izuku, smiling, good thing that wasn't my plan. Izuku, Asen. Before the statue soldiers were done reforming, Izuku called Asen to open the portal to his world and jumped through, getting away from the battle while he still could. Kamoshida, TCH, what a pointless struggle. LeBlanc. Later that night, as Izuku flopped on top of his bed, he finally let the tiredness sink in. Normally he wouldn't use Alice that often, as it left him extremely tired, but in order for him to get away, he needed to take that risk, and it paid off. Although now he could barely move his body, at least he had gotten away to fight another day. Ren, You okay, Izuku? Izuku groans. If you call barely being able to move my body fine, then yeah, I'm okay. And so what's next? Makoto. The only thing we can do is try and come up with a strategy. Yusuke nods head. Yes, even though Izuku had to make a getaway, he was able to get some important information. Futaba. Right. So far we know that all the shadows in the palace power those 3 strong statue soldiers. Haru. And as long as those shadows are there, the damage those statue soldiers receive will be healed. Ruji. So if Izuku wants any chance of taking those soldiers down to stack the boss. Izuku. I'll need to clear out those shadows from the palace. But there's so many. Yusuke. I'm bound to agree, even though you are extremely powerful, Izuku, one mistake and you could be overrun in an instance. Ruji. Unless. Makoto. Unless what, Ruji? Ruji. Unless Izuku makes a team. Everyone. What? Haru. Ruji, you don't really want to take others to the metaverse, do you? And, yeah, it could be really dangerous, what if? Izuku. He's right. Makoto. What do you mean, Izuku? Izuku. I mean, if I want to have any chance of being able to take this palace down, I'll need help. Ren. Do you have anyone in mind that could help? Izuku. It may be a long shot, but I know who to ask. 20 minutes later. Izuku. Hey, this may be out of the blue, but could you and Itsuka come over to LeBlanc tomorrow? I have a favor to ask. Yui. HM? Sure, we'll see you tomorrow then. Izuku. So far so good, just one more person. Ring ring. Mai, CEO of Hatsume Industries speaking. Izuku. Hey Mai, I was wondering if you could come to my work tomorrow. I have a favor to ask you. Mai. No problem, Mr. Thief, but you better be ready to make it up to me. Izuku. Don't worry, I'll make it up to you, Mai. Mai? You'd better, Mr. Izuku. Okay, see you tomorrow then. Mai. Bye. Beep. Ren. Are you sure they'll help you, Izuku? Izuku. I'm not sure, Ren, but if they chose to help me, I'll make sure to make it up to them no matter the cost. Ren. Just be ready, you have a lot of explaining to do to them tomorrow, so it's be best to get some rest so you're ready. Izuku. Nods head, yeah, you're right. Thud. With that last thought, Izuku gave in to his tiredness and fell into blissful sleep. Yue. Nezu. So do you know your task, Eraserhead? Eraserhead. Tired, yeah, I got it. Nezu. Now remember, your mission is of top priority. Although we have multiple heroes looking out for the vigilante, your main task is to find him and bring him in. Eraserhead. Can I ask why you want to meet this vigilante so much? Nezu. Shakes head. That's on a need-to-know basis. For now, you have your mission. Eraserhead. Sigh right. Without another word, Eraserhead walked out of the office, leaving Nezu alone with his thoughts. Nezu. As Yaoi, you have no idea how important this vigilante is. Musutafu. Japan. LeBlanc. Ren. So what's your plan, Izuku? Izuku. In all honesty, the best I can do is just be honest with them. No point in hiding stuff if I'm asking them to do something this serious. Yusuke. I believe that would be for the best. You can't expect them to help you out if you're holding a secret this serious. Izuku. Yep, now hopefully they say yes. Ding. Mai. Hey, I am here. What is it YA need? Izuku. Oh, welcome, Mai. Go ahead and take a seat. We're still waiting on 2 other people. Mai. Smiling, all right, Mr. Thief. Izuku. Still on that nickname, huh? Mai. Like I said before, Mr. Thief, it stays until you do something to impress me. Izuku. Shakes head. Anyway, while you wait, do you want to order anything it on me? Mai. Eyes sparking, really. Izuku. Smiling, yep, so go ahead and take your time deciding. Mai. Squirming him. Actually, is there anything you recommend? Izuku. Thinking him, well, we specialize in curry and coffee, so would that be okay? Mai. Nods head. Sounds good. Izuku. Alright, give me a moment and I'll be back with your order. 10 minutes later. Mai. Yum, it's so good. Izuku. Chuckles. Glad you like it, Mai. Mai. Satisfied. I just wish I could eat this every day. Izuku. Well, I don't know about every day, but feel free to stop by once in a while and I'll treat you. Mai. Shocked, really. Izuku. Smiling. Sure, just try and not make it agar. Mai. Thanks so much. Meanwhile. Yui puff. Yui. I wonder what Izuku needs to talk to Kendo and me about. He sounded really serious. Hopefully it isn't too bad. Yui. Yui. Blinks her. Itsuka. Finally, I've been trying to get your attention for the last couple of minutes. Yui. Oh, sorry, I guess I spaced out. It's Suka. Shakes head. It's cool, I just wanted to let you know we're here. Yui, miles per hour, looks like it. It's Suka. Any clue what Izuku wanted to talk to us about? Yui shakes head. It's Suka. Sigh, well, let's go then, whatever it is must be important, wouldn't want him waiting on us forever. Third person puff. Opening the door, the two girls weren't expecting a lot, maybe some early customers or Izuku working at the counter, but instead they came upon the sight of Izuku on the ground being straddled by a pink-haired girl. And neither of the two were expecting two other people walking in at such an awkward moment. Swash! In a split second, both Yui and Itsuka disappeared from the entrance and had pushed the unknown girl off Izuku and was shaking Izuku by his collar. Yui, what is this, ho? Itsuka, what were you doing? Izuku, Dizzy, please stop shaking me. Hearing that, both Yui and Itsuka stopped shaking Izuku and let him go. This caused him to fall on his back once again while trying to shake of his dizziness. Izuku, groan, oh okay so. Before he could finish, Izuku saw Yui above him holding what appeared to be an enlarged toothpick pointing straight at him with a dark cloud surrounding her. Yui, explain yourself now. Izuku, gulp high. Later, Izuku, scratching back of neck, and that's when you two came in. Itsuka, bowing, I'm sorry for overreacting. Yui, nods head, same. So anyone gonna explain what's happening? Izuku, alright, let me introduce you guys. Yui, Itsuka, this is my Hatsume, future CEO of Hatsume Industry. My points to Yui, this is Yui Kodai, and next to her is Itsuka Kendo, both future heroes. My eyes sparkling, future heroes, you want to see me and Mr. Thief's babies. Yui Itsuka, babies? Yui, tilts head, wait, Mr. Thief. You're Mr. Thief right there, points at Izuku. After the realization of what Mai had said, the room dropped a few temperatures as the black aura surrounded Yui once again, but this time a red aura was surrounding Itsuka as well. Izuku, sweating, she means her inventions, she calls her inventions her babies. Yui Itsuka, oh, my. So not that I don't like talking with new people, but I still got babies to make, so what did you need, Mr. Thief? Yui, nods head, why did you ask to talk to us, Izuku? Izuku, sigh, it's hard to explain out here, so please follow me to my room and I'll show you. This sudden announcement led both Yui and Itsuka to gain noticeable blushes on their faces, while Mai also gained a light blush on her cheeks. Gathering their nerves, the girls followed behind Izuku, going up the stairs of the cafe, and were brought to a spacious room with not much, just a bed, a few plants, and a guitar. Mr. Thief, I thought your room would have a little more decoration. Izuku, well, I've only been staying here for a couple of days, so I haven't had the chance to add anything to the room. Anyways, you guys wanted to know why I asked you here, right? Girls, nod head. Izuku, well, it's better that I show you. In one quick motion, Izuku was covered in a black light, leaving the girls to wonder what was happening. Not 2 seconds later, the light disappeared, leaving only Izuku standing with a whole new outfit. Izuku, let me introduce myself, Slight Bow Wildcard at your service. Yui, wide eyes, you mean? Itsuka, shocked yo. My eyes sparkling, the new vigilante. Izuku, nods head. Itsuka, oh wow, okay, things just got crazy. Izuku, I know you three must have a lot of questions, but please let me tell you why I asked you here before I answer them, okay? All three, nod head. Izuku, deep breath. As you girls know, I've been the one responsible for the sudden change in a lot of people for the last couple of months. The reason for that is I'm able to access a world where the cognitive aspects of ourselves live there. Think of it like the other side of a coin. While we live in our world, there is another side that is composed of all our emotions that live their lives like we would normally do. At this revelation, all three girls were taken aback of how there was a whole other world that was composed of people's cognitive selves. Izuku, now the reason I have been able to cause the sudden change in people is due to the fact that while I'm in the other world, or as I call it, the metaverse, is that I'm able to fight those cognitive selves, and their defeat is what is causing the sudden change in people. Itsuka, but why would you do that? Izuku, sigh, it's because I needed to. Yui, confused, needed to? Izuku, nods head, yes, you see just how we grow and change as time passes and learn form positive and negative experiences. So do our cognitive selves. The problem is that those changes can be both good and bad, and if a person's cognitive self, or shadow, only grows because of negative aspects, then they have the potential of growing into something called a palace. My excited a palace, what's that? Izuku. A palace is an area of influence a person's corrupted shadow rules over. Palaces are formed when powerful distortions happen, which draw in other shadows and create an independent sphere of influence. Usually palaces only form with individuals that have major influence on others, so think CEOs, business owners, and even heroes with their own agencies can form palaces if unchecked. Itsuka. So you go in this metaverse and take down palaces. Izuku. Yes and no. Yui. What do you mean yes and no? Izuku. So for the most part, I've only been fighting other shadows that had yet to turn into palaces, and it wasn't until recently that I've encountered my first palace and you had to retreat, right? Izuku. Nods head. This palace runs on the energy of its resident shadows, and there are simply too many for me to take on. Itsuka. So you want us to help you? Izuku. Nods head. I know this is a lot to take in, and if you have any questions, please ask me them. After all, answering them is the best I can for what I'm asking of you guys. Itsuka. So I guess I'll go ahead then. So why did you become a vigilante, Izuku? Izuku. Close his eyes. For the longest time I could remember, I always wanted to be a hero, someone that could save others with a smile like All Might himself, but it wasn't until I turned 4 when I learned the truth: no one is made equal. Since the dawn of Quirk's first appearing, humanity has come a long way both in technology and morals, or at least that is what I first thought. What do you mean? Izuku. Well, when I was younger, I believed that the fight between good and evil, villains and heroes, was always a black and white argument. Villains do bad things, and then a hero would come in and stop them. Itsuka. So what changed? Izuku. Opens eyes. In our current population, about 80% of people hold some type of quirk, while we have 20% of people that don't, and this percentage are usually those from the older generation. Hardly any new kids are born without quirks. I happen to be one of those. My eyes wide, you mean? Izuku. Nods head. Ever since I was 4 years old and was diagnosed as quirkless, I have lived a life full of discrimination, bullying, and peer isolation. I have been treated less than dirt by others and have been looked upon as if I was a disease that shouldn't exist. Hearing how he had been treated for the majority of his life had brought tears to form on the corner of the girl's eyes as they continued to listen to Izuku. But didn't you have friends before you were diagnosed as quirkless? They should have stuck up for you. Izuku. I did have friends before. Hell, I even had someone I would have considered as a best friend. Izuku. But when they found out I didn't have a quirk, they all turned on me. Even my so-called best friend. At first it wasn't that bad. They would just avoid me and act as if I wasn't there, but it all changed when my former best friend began openly bullying me. At first it was just words, calling me a freak, useless. He even gave me the nickname Deku to show me just how useless I really was, and then he became physical with me. I don't know when it began, but eventually over time I gained a lot of scars on my body because of him, and no one did anything about it. Yui. Shaking. Did he do anything else? Izuku. So he told me to kill myself and pray I get a quirk in my next life. Once again shock radiated off all 3 girls. Itsuka brought her hand to her mouth to try and stop a gasp from escaping. Mai looked down to the ground while clenching her fist so tight vital fluid was almost dripping. And although Yui's face remained stoic, tears were streaming down her eyes. Itsuka. What about the adults early? They must have said something. Izuku. Sad smile. You would think that, but they didn't. Hell, some of them even encouraged others to bully me, and those that didn't just ignored me like I wasn't there. Izuku. Dry chuckle. But even through that I still pushed on forward, holding on to the belief that even without a quirk I would be able to become a hero. Maybe not the next symbol of peace, but I would at least be able to help others, and then I meet him. Izuku. Deep breath. On my last day at Aldrea High, I was walking back home when I was attacked by a slime villain that was running away from a hero, not just any hero, but the #1 hero himself, All Might. My wide eyes. You meet All Might? Izuku. Yes. Itsuka. What happened? Izuku. After he saved me from the slime villain, I wanted to ask All Might a question I always wanted to hear the answer to, so before he jumped away I stupidly grabbed onto his leg because I was so desperate to hear the answer. Izuku. When he finally noticed me, he stopped on top of a building, and that's when I asked him, All Might, is it possible for a quirkless person to be a hero? Hearing this, the girls began to think about the possible answers Izuku could have received. Surely the number one hero, the symbol of peace, for crying out loud, would say yes, it's possible. Difficult but possible. How couldn't he? After all, he always says anyone can be a hero in every interview he's ever done. But something in the pit of their stomachs was telling them that wasn't the case. Izuku. And you guys want to know what he said? Ever so hesitantly, all three girls nodded, feeling the need to know just how the symbol of peace replied. Izuku. Sad smile, he told me no. He said you need to be a little more realistic. Maybe becoming a firefighter or police officer would be better, but a hero, that is just not possible. If they weren't shocked before, the girls definitely were now. Not only did they just hear a small glimpse of what someone who's quirkless had to deal with in their lives, but now, to hear that the symbol of peace, Japan's number one hero, All Might, had told someone they couldn't be a hero, destroyed all previous thoughts they held for the number one hero. Yui. Izuku crying, I'm so sorry. Izuku. Shakes head, it's okay Yui, please don't blame yourself for something that you had no idea was happening. After all, we didn't meet until way later. Yui. Looks down, okay. My shaky voice, is that everything? Izuku. Shakes head, no, you see, after All Might told me that he left, and I just sat on the edge of the building thinking about my life and how even the number one hero, my idol, told me I couldn't be a hero and I should just give up on my dream. I couldn't take it and I jumped. Itsuka. Sharp gasp. Yui. Shaking. My what? Izuku. I jumped. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to end it all. Itsuka. Shaky voice, but you're still here, how? Izuku. Smiling, in the moment I was falling, I blacked out, and when I woke up, I was in another plane of existence. My plane of existence. Izuku. Nods head, just like the cognitive that I'm able to go to. I was awake in another area that seems to be in between both worlds. That's called the Velvet Room. Izuku. Anyway, when I finally got a bearing on my surroundings, I noticed I was in front of 9 people who took me under their wings and not only helped me mentally and physically, but they gave me the power to help change the fate our world is heading towards. Itsuka. Fate? Izuku. Deep breath as it stands. We are heading towards a fate of having a major war falling upon us. My. Shuck, what do you mean war? Itsuka. How could people be willing to kill others for no reason? Izuku. Take deep breaths and I'll continue. After a few deep breaths, both Itsuka and I had been able to calm back down and began to listen to Izuku once again. Izuku. As I have told you about my life, I want all three of you to think. If a person who is constantly being kicked down by a society that has decided their life is worth nothing and have been discriminated against because of something they can't control, has no means to live a kind life, what would most decided to do? Hearing this question, all three girls began to think a person who has nothing positive in their life because society decided they were meaningless or spent their days being discriminated against, what would they do? Sure, there could be those that wouldn't let others stop them from achieving their dreams, but most wouldn't be able to do that and would choose the easiest option. Realization hit all three of them as it became clear. Itsuka. Scarred they would. Yui. Shaking, want to fight back, and that means my wide eyes, they would become villains. Izuku. Nods head, and all it would take is someone to unite them under the banner of changing society for the better. Itsuka. But thousands would die. Izuku. Looks down, and many of them would die for a cause they believe in. To some, the only way to end today's corruption would mean that spilling some vital fluid would be a necessary sacrifice to build a better future for tomorrow. For the next couple of minutes, all three girls thought back on what Izuku had told them. From how he lived growing up quirkless, hearing the terrible things that happened to him, and now how he was given a power meant to change the fate their world was slowly walking towards, and yet even after everything he went through and the literal weight of responsibility Izuku has on his shoulders is still there standing, not letting the world bring him down. Itsuka. Izuku, can I ask you a question? Izuku. Nods. Itsuka. If you have such power, then why not apply to a hero school to get your license and do things more smoothly? Izuku. Yui. Izuku. Izuku. Closes eyes. I was rejected. My. Surprise, what do you mean? Izuku. Clenches fist. My application for UA was rejected due to my quirkless status. Apparently the staff put my application to a vote where only 4 members voted to allow me to take the exam, while the others, and apparently one incredibly vocal staff member, voted to reject my application. Yui. Whispers how. Izuku. What was that, Yui? Yui looks up. How can you still be such a caring person with everything that's happened to you? How are you still willing to save others even if they would never help you? Hearing the normally stoic Yui yell left Izuku stunned. Sure, even though he had come to accept and heal from his past thanks to the help of the Phantom Thieves and the therapy sessions he had with Lavenza helped him move forward, he had not realized that someone else would be shocked that someone would still be able to want to help others. Izuku, Yui, even though I have lived a terrible life, I have always felt that doing the right thing and helping others is what I was meant to do. Small smile. Even if no one is willing to stand by me, I will always help those that need it, for I have experienced some of the worst things the world has to offer. And if I can even stop someone from experiencing such awfulness, then I'll always be there to help. Hearing his conviction to helping others lead the three girls to look in awe at Izuku. Even if he was alone in the world, he would always be willing to help others, so they wouldn't have to go through what he did. Stealing their nerves, all three girls came to the same silent conclusion. They would be there to stand with him, so he wouldn't be alone. Smiling, well, you sure know how to give a speech, Mr. Koff. Izu blush. How can I say no to your call for help? Izuku, small smile, thump. Thank you, Mai. Izuku, what was that? After hearing Mai's agreement to help him, he turned toward the girl he had known the longest out of the three. Yui, eyes closed. Since the day I met you, I knew something was special about you, Izu. Unlike others, you don't look down on other people, and you even go out of your way to help people even if you don't have any reason to. Yui opens eyes. I have decided that from this moment I will stand by you as long as you need. And even if the world were to turn against you, I will always be by your side. Smile. Izuku, wide eyes. Yui. Izuku, smile. Thank you. Hearing yet another of his friends agree to help him and even say she would stand with him brought Izuku happiness that he hadn't felt before. Yet another feeling was also building up, but he couldn't think about it now. He still had one more person's answer he needed to hear. As he turned toward Itsuka, he expected to see a lot of things: doubt, fear, maybe even some anger, but as his eyes leveled with hers, he could only see one thing in those beautiful teal eyes of hers: pure conviction. Itsuka, I was raised on the belief of treating others how you want to be treated and to help others as best as you can. Sure, others may say that what you are doing is wrong, but even after everything you have told us you went through with the world pushing you down, you still decide to stand back up and fight against it to make others live happy lives. Itsuka, smiling to me, you are the prime example of what a true hero should be: kind to others, humble to a high degree, and willing to push through whatever challenge appears in front of you. I can't think of a reason as to not accept your offer, Izu. Izuku, close his eyes. Itsuka, thump. Izuku opens eyes. Thank you, all three of you. I will make this up to all of you, so please lend me your strength as I will lend mine to you. Mai nods head. So when do we start? Izuku, I'll go over all that I know with you guys so we can do this tomorrow. Is that okay? Itsuka, rushing it a little, aren't you? Izuku shakes head. The biggest threat we have is the boss, and to get to him we need to beat all the shadows that are easy to deal with. Yui, so first take out the minions. Mai cracks knuckles and then take the big man himself down. Izuku nods head. His bodyguards will become useless without the other shadows, giving them power to fight and rebuild themselves. Itsuka, so it would be a straight shot to the boss after we take down the minions. Izuku, smiling, let's start planning. Velvet Room. Ruji, smiling, Booya, I knew he would be able to trust them. Morgana, would you look at that, smiling, has already got people that'll stand with him. Yusuka, bonds forming together through the power of trust, truly a beautiful sight to behold. Futaba, snickering, oh, I'm sure that they increase their bonds even more in the near future. Haru, oh, what makes you say that, Futaba? And grinning, she means that Izu's lil friend are attracted to him a lot more than he believes. Makoto giggles, not only that, but Izuku himself has also began gaining feelings for them as well. Ren, smiling, however he chooses to handle the future, he knows that we'll be here to help him. Everyone, yeah, so this was the end of part 3 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.